Hello, I'm ABX and welcome back to this video. Today I want to let you know that there is a brand new snapshot available for Minecraft on the Java edition, which you can now play if you use snapshots. So the reason this is relevant is not just for Minecraft Java players, although it is good news for you because you can play with some new features, which I'll be showing off in today's video, but also because it shows that they are adding new features to this update every single week. They're not stopping the pace because just this last week and in this week they have added a brand new type of underwater structure, or it's an underwater version of an existing structure, the underwater ravine. But there's also an underwater ravine which is different to that first ravine, which is used for magma blocks and looks amazing. I'll be showing that off in this video. There's also underwater caves. There's also 10 now ocean biomes. There used to be 2, technically 3 before. Now there is 10 types of oceans, and I want to talk about all these changes and more with today's video. Hopefully you all do enjoy. So please do like this video if you do like it, because it helps out the channel, and let us know you do like the Minecraft snapshot kind of preview things, and I will be checking this out a lot more later if you want to see that in live stream version. But for now, let's give you a brief rundown of everything in the snapshot, because the first couple of features are going to involve us swimming into the ocean. So I'm going to use a night vision potion and a water breathing potion just to make this a bit easier, and let me show you the first type of feature, which is of course just a ravine but found inside the ocean. So this is something we can all kind of expect, like guess what, it's a ravine but it goes below the ocean surface. So honestly, now that we have sea kelp and that we have seaweeds here, these actually look really kind of I think they look much better than they would otherwise, but as you can see, it's kind of like a boring thing of just like, how about ravines but underwater? Like, they're not really going to be accessible till you get water breathing, so they're not useful early game, and honestly late game ravines aren't that useful anyway, but they are kind of an interesting extra thing to find underwater. You can turn them into an underwater base if you want to. So like, imagine if you just like solidified this off and then like drained the area. Now suddenly you've got yourself an underwater area. You might be a fan of that sort of thing, or maybe you're not, in which case maybe you'll appreciate the second type of underwater ravine a little bit more. So these ones are again like slightly just about as common as to find, but they're slightly more noticeable when you do find them, because as you can see, they're filled with lava and they're filled with obsidian. So presumably the idea here was, they're made with magma and obsidian. They're different blocks very distinctly, and this one is interesting because the magma block will actually, like bring items down towards it. As you can see, bubbles are going down, which means if I just let myself float, I'm dragged towards the magma. So if you bring your boat above these areas and they happen to go down in them, you can actually be dragged down by these ocean ravines, because the bubbles will go all the way up, again, as soon as it renders, to the ocean surface. So again, just imagine you're there on your boat one day, like, oh yeah, I'd really love to go on a boat journey across the entire world one day. How about I stop and admire these bubbles? I wonder what these are. And then suddenly, if you don't do it, if you get out there fast enough, then your boat will be dragged down, and there's nothing you can do about it. So yeah, fun fact, you can you can lose your boat to the open surface now, which is actually kind of interesting, because that means there is a way to solidly find these from above the surface, and that also means these are now a solid way to find magma blocks, because magma, again, there's 2 ways to get it. You can go to the nether and mine it, or you can make it yourself. Both ways are fairly tricky, especially for an early game player, whereas these blocks are just readily available for anyone who wants to go and get them. So there you go, fun fact, you can come to these underwater ravines and you can find yourself magma, which is pretty darn cool. But there's also, as well as this, there is a brand new structure in the form of the underwater cave. So caves have existed underwater in some form before, but now that, you see them every now and then, but now they exist in an official form where, as you can see, the cave will be broken up, and instead of, normal ocean stuff, you'll find a little bit of a cave. So again, entire cave is underwater. I was secretly hoping you'd find some bits that were, above the water level, or, not above the water level, but above the cave level where you'd see some water. But obviously, because the entire cave is, again, below water level, and that's how oceans work, you actually won't find air holes in there. So again, it's not really too useful in terms of actual gameplay. They do look pretty interesting, however. Again, look through this whole thing, and you might be able to use these in the same way you can use above ground caves, except the key advantage of a below ground cave is they start much lower, so you can find diamonds much easier. So I'm already at Y19, for instance, so I can find lapis this early, and there's a tiny chance, like I doubt it, but I could find diamonds around here, which isn't something you can say for being this low down in a normal cave, or for being at, this low down from where you found the cave, because look, it's just this low below the surface. So yeah, with that said, that is the underwater cave, the underwater ravines. They're both pretty interesting things. Now let's talk about the brand new ocean system, because again, they added, they've split the biome up into 10 separate things. Oh, one more thing actually. Sorry, the cave is more humid than the outside world, and right now we don't know what that use is going to be for, but they hinted there's something that will use the cave's humidity, because something to do with heat. So yeah, let's talk about the ocean biome itself now. So you might not be able to tell a difference from last week's snapshot to this one, but the ocean is distinctly different. They've actually changed the ocean from being just like, oh yeah, there is deep ocean and there's regular ocean, which has, again, basically there's high ocean and low ocean, but now they split it into 5 types of high ocean and 5 types of deep ocean. So as you can see, if we press F3, look in the top left there, just below facing, just above light, you can see how it says, right now, lukewarm ocean. That's because there is 5 types of ocean you can now find. There is cold, there is frozen, there's normal, there's lukewarm, and there's warm. So the warmest type of ocean you can get is warm, the second is lukewarm, then there's normal, then there's cold, then there's frozen. So frozen ocean existed before, but it was as part of like, you know, frozen biomes. Now the oceans kind of have their own biome system going on, which means you'll be able to find stuff like just over here, a frozen ocean. So you can see how it slowly fades from lukewarm into deep lukewarm, and then it will eventually hit cold just before there. At least it did when I last checked. And then suddenly you're in the frozen ocean. So yeah, they mostly try to generate next to biomes of the same type. So if I look on this side of it, it should go from frozen into cold, as you can see. Oh no, just frozen into lukewarm. So again, that's not meant to happen like that, but you can see if I go a little bit further, it should go into cold this time. There we go. So yeah, it's meant to go from cold into frozen, etc. like that. For some reason, my world doesn't quite do that, but it does mean that now the biomes have their own different temperatures. And again, right now it's not used for too much, although eventually the warmer biomes will have coral reefs, but that's not true right now. But it is worth mentioning that the frozen ocean is the most notable of all of them right now, because again, it's a biome that already existed, but now that means you can just find random patches of your ocean, especially around biomes where it doesn't make too much sense and is kind of confusing, like right here. You can find them just covered in ice, and therefore when it rains, covered in snow too. So you might find value to that. You might find that your oceans are a lot better than they were before, because again, you'll notice how again, if it's a frozen ocean, it will actually snow, which you might like in your world, and if it's a warm ocean, then it won't snow at all. So you can now use your oceans to get away from rain now too, which again, I think there's some value to that you might find. So yeah, there is 10 types of ocean now in Minecraft, and for the most part, oh, okay, let's go F3 again. For the most part, you're going to see how you find like fairly normal things, and they're going to be fairly normal to ship between them. But as time goes on, we're going to see more and more uses for this, and that gets me really excited for like how this stuff changes. So I went from lukewarm to ocean, regular, to lukewarm again. Then we're going to go back into more like cold, and then eventually, this is the really weird, crazy thing that I actually found before, is that near my desert biome and near my mesa biome, there is actually again just over here, you can see how there is frozen ocean here too, and this doesn't affect the stuff below it. So there's actually magma below the surface of the ice, or like right next to it, which leads to a lot of like weirdities of like, how does that even make sense? But it does happen, it is a thing, and it is one of the bizarre things that happen with oceans in this update. I'm really excited for it because it gets me in the mood of like, oh yeah, so this is going to be changing in quite some significant ways. So anyway, like I said, I'll be checking this out more later. There's a few other things in this, like, oh yeah, they're going to be using these for real things. The locate command, you can now click it if you want to. So if I want to see a monument, for instance, I can just like click the link, which is a nice little thing, or at least I'm meant to be able to as soon as it comes to me. So as you can see, now I can just click that in the chat, and then it will take me right over there if I want to. So that's kind of nice. Yeah, basically though, let me just mention before I go that the reason these things are so exciting is because we're seeing these snapshots come out on a weekly basis, and it means that the game is changing every single week, from being, again, like, we're getting closer and closer to that release, and although it seems like it's ages away because we're like starting to see the betas now, it's surprising how fast they can add features during these snapshot weeks, and that's really exciting if you do ask me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the, well, I mean, I want to play around with this, but I'm also looking forward to the next few weeks when they add in the coral reefs, when they add in the dolphins. There's still a bunch of mysteries to be added, such as the new mob, the new hostile one that's still not been mentioned, such as the brand new treasure. There's all these mysteries to be added, and that's something we're going to be seeing as time goes on. But for now, I hope you do all enjoy these snapshot videos, because I enjoy making them. Please do like it if you did like it, share it if you really liked it, subscribe if you're around here, because I make videos like this one every single day on my channel, and if subscribed, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye. Or in the next live stream, which is later, because I can't stream tomorrow, because I'm in Serbia. Anyway, see you tomorrow. Bye.